Let me introduce you to our first speaker today. When thinking of who should kick off RETCON, we thought who better than someone with insight into the many ways that technology is impacting our industry. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Constance Freedman. She's the founder and managing partner of Moderne Ventures, an early stage investment fund that is focused on investing in technology companies in and around the multi-trillion-dollar industries of real estate, mortgage, finance, insurance, and home services. Constance has invested in more than 70 companies and actively partners with 700 plus industry executives and corporations to help build strategic value and scale. Constance has been the recipient of several prestigious awards, including Housing Wire's Women of Influence, Crane's Business 40 Under 40, Swanepoel's Power 200, and Inman's Top 101 in Real Estate. And of course, she got her MBA from Harvard. Please join me in welcoming Constance to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Constance Freedman, and I'm with Moderne Ventures. And today we're going to tell you a little bit about some of the tech and innovation coming to the multifamily space. So I'm pleased to be here today and share some of this with you. So just first of all, we are a strategic investment fund. We focus on technology companies in and around real estate, finance, insurance, home services, and hospitality. And what I thought we would do today is I could tell you a little bit about Moderne Ventures. I'll share some tech and trends that we're seeing about capital pouring into the industry and things about how we see it really changing the industry. And then finally, I'm going to leave you with a set of practical applications, because what use is any of this if you can't do something about it today? So I'm going to just start, just a little bit of background just for some context. We started investing under this strategy in about 2008. We've raised 3 funds. We're currently raising our 3rd fund today. And we look at about 4,500 companies every single year. So we say no to almost all of them, but we've made about 100 investments over the last 12 years across our 3 different funds. So we understand the industry quite well. We understand the market, the opportunities, the gaps, the challenges, and that's really what we are investing in. And we do this under the structure of a fund, our network, and the passport. So I'll just quickly tell you a little bit about how we're structured. We generally invest in companies 2 to 20 million in revenue. So that's still early stage, but for you, that means that they are actually real companies. We go through a very highly vetted process to determine which companies we're bringing to the industry. And we work with about 700 corporates and executives across our industry, people looking for technology and innovation to create a competitive advantage, and often look for Moderne to help them do so. And then we run a program that we call the Moderne Passport. We started doing this in 2013. It's a 7-month systematic program to help connect our companies with our network, with the industry. And so with that, we have, like I said, brought in about 100 companies over the last 12 years across different asset classes. And really, we work with some of the largest real estate companies in the world across multiple asset classes to try to bring new technology and innovation into the industry. That gives a little context about us. Now, why do we care? Why is this important and why is this exciting? Well, there has been about a 600% growth in real estate technology investment over the last 4 years alone. Back in 2015, when I was just raising our 2nd fund, people would kind of pat me on the head and say, what a cute little niche that you're focused on. And I was like, well, but it's a multi-trillion-dollar niche. And what has happened over the last 4 years is I think that, nobody says that to me anymore. The space has gotten validated. And, this figure, the 32 billion, that actually only represents very specific tech companies. So it's not including things like DocuSign, so we were early investors in 2009, that is applicable to the industry, but not specific to it. And so there's a lot of companies, especially within our portfolio, that are outside the industry, but has applicability in the industry. And that number is not even represented here. So it's actually far greater than 32 billion coming into the markets today. So why is there so much excitement coming into real estate technology? Well, just as paper-based processes has lent themselves to digital processes, broadcast TV has lent itself to Netflix, hotels to Airbnb, what we and a lot of outsiders see is that real estate represents, they've got a lot of antiquated processes and, really represents something ripe for change. And I think the bottom line is you either let technology happen to you, and that's how you get disrupted, or you innovate. And so, there's a lot of people that say like this can't ever change a lot in this industry. But, as we see things like Airbnb and WeWork and some others, things can change. And in a time of uncertainty where we are today, they're more apt to change than ever before. It's easy to not do anything when things are going well. But I think right now, and especially in times of uncertainty, this is a time when it's really important to look at how can we think about doing things different. What if real estate is different 5 to 10 years from now than it is today? And so, COVID or no COVID, we want to be thinking about those things. We invest in technology to generate returns. And that can mean an investment, meaning like an investment like we invest, but an investment in just how you use and what partners you choose to work with within your organization. And so the way that we work with our partners to think about technology is you should be looking at it to create returns. And that can be in the form of higher revenue. It can be in the form of decreased OpEx or adding value in some way such that you increase your NOIs or you increase your operating bottom line at the end of the day. So this is how we think about it. We think about key business challenges and what are the key business challenges in our industries and what new technologies can we bring in to address them. Now, these business challenges are not unique to real estate, but they're very applicable. We're always thinking about how do we earn more referrals? How are we going to generate leads? Not just every lead, but qualified leads. We have a communication issue, whether that's across the business or with our residents. There's, of course, a financing and insurance element to every deal we do. We can think about how do we operate more efficiently? How do we transact more efficiently? How do we lease more efficiently? And of course, this is very much a relationship building business. And so over the years, we've invested in different technologies that address each of these. And we'll go through some of these today. Another kind of way that we look at what we do is, again, these are those 5 business challenges that I mentioned. We layer them across different asset classes and then also across the life cycle of a transaction. So again, we have, within that 100 portfolio, tech company portfolio I told you about, we're really looking at how do you improve every aspect or how do you make every aspect of the real estate world more efficient. So again, what really matters is how does this increase NOI or how does this increase my operating income? And so when we work with partners and what you guys all should be doing within your businesses internally is think about if we layer on different technologies across our portfolio, what incremental benefits do I receive from that? Again, whether that's revenue or OpEx, and can I actually get a meaningful difference? And we have a case study from one of our partners that does multifamily office and master plan communities, and we found that by layering on different technologies, they could increase their NOI by as much as 8%. This is a multi-billion-dollar fund, which obviously has huge impact on their bottom line. All right, so I'm going to now kind of come to the third part of the presentation, which is thinking about practical applications. What can you do today if you wanted to take advantage of some of these things? Now, we bring in about 10 to 20 different companies every single year, either through our passport or through investment or both. And so I'm going to highlight some of the newer ones that we're working with right now. Some of these you might already know, some of these you might already be working with, but I'm going to put them into these 3 different categories of companies that can help benefit our top line revenue, decrease OpEx, or adding value. You're going to see that some of these are COVID specific or have value either due to or because of or in spite of COVID, and others that are just make good business sense. So I'm going to just highlight a few of these companies today for you. All right, I'm going to start with Leaselock. So Leaselock completely eliminates the security deposit, but continues to insure property owners and managers against rent loss and damage. So by not having to pay a security deposit, we have found that Leaselock actually increased the lift in lease conversion because people really appreciate not having to come to the building with having to pay that additional security deposit. So what we found, and this is a real case study with one of their partners, they can get as much as a 19% increase in the closing ratio lift. They generate ancillary income, which I know is a really hot button for multifamily today. And so, what the renter does is instead of paying that security deposit, they pay about $20 per month extra. And as an owner operator, you can increase that to say $25 a month, make an additional $5 on every unit, and actually create a pretty good profit from that across the portfolio. And then, of course, there's bad debt reduction and decreased administration costs just by not having to deal with security deposits anymore. So in a real case study with one of the NMHC top 50 operators, they found that they were able to increase NOI by as much as $182,000 per building across a 90 building portfolio. That's about $16.5 million annually. So, really valuable case study from Leaselock. All right, I'm going to talk about Vive. So Vive is antimicrobial lighting. Now, this is a company we started looking at years ago. And one of the reasons why we were excited about it is because a lot of our partners were saying, well, how do we increase wellness in our buildings? We want people to breathe fresh air and have clean surfaces. And so Vive is an antimicrobial lighting technology. It eradicates about 99.9% of all bacteria. Doesn't kill the viruses, so it's not a complete solution, but different from UV lighting, which has existed for a long time, but is not safe for humans. The Vive uses something called VLD technology, which actually is safe for humans. And so you can put it in your gyms, you can put it in your showers, you can put it in your common spaces, in your apartments, kind of everywhere, and actually make the building more healthy, make the building safer. And so it is used. Delta Airlines just did a big deal with them. So they're starting to put it into planes. It's used in food services. It's used in gyms, offices, and of course, across residential food services and medical spaces as well. They're even talking to one of the big elevator companies about putting it in the elevator buttons themselves to help eradicate germs in that way. Next, I'll talk about Stride. So Stride is creating benefits for the gig economy workers, non-benefited workers. And in this case, we're also talking about non-benefited residents. If we look at 2008 to 2010, when unemployment went sky high, one of the things that we saw was the big rise of the gig economy worker, right? And now a lot of the gig economy workers are living in your buildings. What that means is that they no longer have health insurance. They no longer have benefits that traditional employers gave them. So what Stride does is actually creates a benefit platform that can be powered by you. It can be a building benefit option for residents. So today they power companies like Uber and Postmates and DoorDash, Keller Williams, and they provide this to their 1099 workforce. Stride is partners with about 200 healthcare plans nationwide. They have a super simple platform that, like I said, can be co-branded for you and offered as like a lifestyle benefit. And one of the nice things about that is that if they leave the building, they're still getting health insurance through your building. And, people really appreciate that. More importantly, they look at that as loyalty and a reason not to leave a building, but a reason to stay. All right, I'm going to talk about now flipping more over to sort of efficiency and OpEx savings within the buildings. I'll start with a company called Unicast. So Unicast is a data company. and it provides human mobility data insights. So it can track, actually, with our phones. Oh, you can't see my phone. It can track with our phones, pretty specific demographic data and how people migrate, how people move around. And so if we're thinking about where to develop the next building, what site location or what retail to attract to our multi-use buildings, it can give a really great insight about who's coming and where. We can think about what neighborhoods are about to get hot based on who gets dropped off where and when, or where people are commuting during the day. So really great demographic insight and something that can help particularly in development or new purchase ideas for new buildings. All right, this is kind of boring, but actually can create a lot of benefit. So lawn care and snow removal. So Task Easy is kind of like the Uber of lawn care and snow removal. They cover about 99% of all zip codes and can manage lawn care and snow removal across your whole portfolio. So instead of having thousands of different contracts with thousands of different maintenance workers, if you don't have 100% maintenance staff in your buildings, you can use Task Easy as your one-stop shop nationwide to manage all the lawn care and snow removal across your portfolio. They've mowed over 2 million lawns across every state, and they service over 30,000 properties every month. So, really good solution for those of you that don't have on-site maintenance staff in all your properties. All right, another boring one, but also important, air filters. So Second Nature is a subscription-based air filter company. They will deliver air filters to you on a quarterly basis, so you have the maintenance that you need for HVAC systems. Now, why is this important? Obviously, if we don't take care of our HVACs, they break down. That's a lot more costly than maintaining them every quarter. But even more important, we can look at not having to store all this stuff on site. It shows up. The staff, the maintenance staff, then installs it, and it makes sure that things get done, and it also eliminates storage space. And they've got everywhere from kind of low level all the way up to MERV quality. This is one of the best defenses against viruses, and so something that's really important. We find that there's a 30% reduction in HVAC maintenance, as well as 25% savings in over current filter costs. So this can really have an impact on bottom line as well. All right, maybe another boring one, but really important, cybersecurity. About $3 million is lost by SMBs, small, medium-sized businesses, each year in cyber attacks based on from business disruption and other things. And so imagine that your building gets attacked, or your buildings or corporate headquarters. It's really important to go against, but also ensure against these potential big damages. And we're seeing this happen more and more because these hackers are, worse during these downturn times and take advantage of people more than ever. So something that we see is really important, particularly coming into this space. All right, I just have a couple companies left that I want to share with you. And this is more on the ancillary income. So how do I make more money? Traditionally, we look at real estate as being valued by, cap rates, commissions, leases, rent, income. But, there are other ways we can generate income. We can build an ecosystem around a building to make that building or make our revenues higher than they typically are through traditional means alone. So I'm going to just share a couple of companies as an example of that. The first is Moto Refi. This is a company this is our most recent investment, actually. And so what Moto Refi does is it completely digitizes auto refinancing loans. Now, what the heck does that have to do with real estate, you might ask? But I will tell you, it has a lot to do with it. So bear with me. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'll bring it back to why maybe it's important to you. All right, so about 80% of people refinance. 80% of people finance their new car loans, their new car purchases. And almost 100% of them do that through dealers. So it turns out dealers make almost no money anymore on selling the cars. It's almost all through their financing. And so what Moto Refi does is it completely digitizes auto refinancing. We find that people can save $100 to $150 a month on this, which basically creates an average of about $1,200 a year of additional disposal income for your residents. And so this is important to make sure they can meet their rent each month. Now, most importantly, they give a $200 bounty, a $200 referral fee as a rev share. So a good ancillary income. Ritual is bringing virtual food courts to the building. So people are, working from home is a new normal. Even after COVID, we think that's going to stay. And so what Ritual does is sort of replaces the, old way of knocking on the door to a neighbor saying, hey, I'm going to go out and get coffee. It allows that to all become digital. So it promotes community, but also, allows you to have contactless pickup and bring local businesses basically into your building. And then finally, the last one, the Coinbox for dry cleaning. Dry cleaning as an amenity in your building. This is self-service dry cleaning units. It takes about 10 minutes to dry clean. And so when people start to care about work clothes again, having this in the building can be, really useful. All right, so these are just a few examples of how technology is changing the world, obviously changing the way we live, work, and play, and certainly changing how we do business today. So what I hope that we, I leave you here with are some things that are actionable, something valuable, and some things that are new. I invite you to take action on innovation. It's like I said, it's really easy when things are going well not to do anything. It's more important than ever to think about new tech and how it can improve your business in some of these uncertain times. So it's important to recognize the value and to do something about it. What can you do? So, if you're interested in learning more about some of the things that we're doing, we invite you to become part of our mentor network. And what that means is that every other week we hold these mentor meetings, provide a way to help you meet some of the new companies coming into the space. You can find more about this on our website. We work with each of our technology companies to create pilot programs. So a way for you all to try before you buy. We invite you to participate in that. But most of all, we think you should be investing in technology for your businesses today. We think you should be engaging, and bottom line, make technology happen for you and not to you. I hope this was informative for you and useful. My information is here, and happy to connect and share more about Modern Ventures with you all. Thank you so much for having me be part of the conference today.